Well, it wasn't an abduction, and it wasn't human trafficking. It wasn't even a cult that kept a Florida mom away from her two children, her apartment, and her job. Only her bunny knows. And if you've been down this rabbit hole, folks, the one where Erica Johnson disappeared last year, you're still going to be scratching your head. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to Profiling Evil in this special episode on the recovery of a Florida mother who disappeared more than a year ago under suspicious circumstances. Now, you'll remember this case because it involved a bunny, a bus ride, and a whole lot of suspicion. So please take a moment, hit that like and subscribe button, and ring the bell so you get all of our notifications on videos like this one. And let's jump into the case of Erica Ann Johnson. Well, last year when this story broke, I recorded a rather short video stating that in my opinion then, this case didn't appear like foul play to me. Now, I took a little bit of abuse for that, and there were a whole bunch of media channels and social media channels that were putting out videos that this was trafficking, abduction, murder, all kinds of things. But the reason I didn't feel that way? A suitcase. Let's watch this video from what I posted some time ago. Erica Johnson disappeared. Now, I want to watch a previous part of that video, and then we're going to chat at the conclusion of it. Let's watch. Mother named Erica Johnson. She was last seen a month ago in Fort Myers, Florida on CCTV as she boarded a bus bound for the Tampa area. It would actually be a week before family members reported her missing, and closer inspection is creating more questions than answers.
Tonight from your Cape Coral news team, police need your help to find this woman. Erica Johnson was last seen 11 days ago. Today, Cape Coral police said she could be in danger. NBC2's Alicia Alonso found where Johnson was last seen and why she might look different than she does in this photo.
Time is very important, but in order for us to appropriately handle these type of investigations, we have to, get our ducks in a row and make sure that we're hitting each of these points.
Erica Johnson's family filed a missing persons report on July 14 after she missed a work shift. Last seen walking near Coronado and Cape Coral parkways.
We don't really have a way of being able to locate her. She does not have any social media. She also doesn't have any bank account. That's one thing that we could use in order to track purchases, stuff like that.
Johnson is described with shorter, blonder hair than what's seen in this photo. Police say she doesn't drive or own a car, but rides on public bus routes often.
In 11 days, you could have traveled out of state on bus. You could be anywhere in the United States at this point, or even out of the country.
Anyone with information on Johnson's whereabouts is asked to call Cape Police.
She had a suitcase, her pet rabbit, and a travel pillow with her as she climbed aboard the bus at 5:21 a.m. Now, friends say she was acting strangely before leaving, but I'm wondering if this was a planned departure that came about quite suddenly. And here's why. Johnson suddenly canceled a scheduled visit with her children just before she left town. Now, on July 5th, Erica Johnson told a co-worker at the hotel where they were working, she worked as a housekeeper there, that she didn't feel well, and she convinced the co-worker to take her out to the bus stop. Now, it's unknown if she was taken to the Fort Myers bus terminal where she was spotted at 5:37 p.m., or if that's a location after she went somewhere else. But either way, we know that she exited the bus, catching it closer to the hotel where she worked. Now, it's important to note that traveling by public transportation is the way that Erica Johnson gets around. And so this is not abnormal for her to be jumping on public transportation. Another interesting observation I had is that she's not carrying anything abnormal when we look at these photographs of her as she's leaving work and getting on that bus. She's wearing a mask, and I wonder if that's supportive of her claim that she was ill, or if it's something she does preventatively. These are really important behavioral questions that I hope that investigators are resolving. Now, there's no mention of what time Johnson left work, and what bus stop she actually was taken to by the coworker. But common sense is suggesting that she boarded a bus outside of the hotel, right here where we're showing it on this map. And she used that bus to go to her apartment on Cape Coral Parkway. Now, that's a local city bus, and her residence is halfway between where she works and another place that we know she had to get to, which was the Greyhound bus station to get her ticket a few days later. But it only makes sense that she left the hotel and made her way to the north up into the area of the mall where she made a transfer onto the 30 West bus that took her over to her home. Now, these photographs are of her boarding and debarking buses that are at the same Letran terminal near Bell Tower Mall. And this indicates that she had gone through that area, and we know that, and that she traveled home from work 3 days before she was again seen on a camera taking a northern route. So one of the questions that I have is whether or not this bus trip was planned or sudden. WFLA News reported that they spoke with a tenant in Johnson's apartment building that remembers the missing woman coming into the building a week before with a new, large black suitcase. Now, if this information is reliable, Johnson was either returning from a trip or perhaps she was preparing for a trip with this newly purchased luggage. Now, I say this because she was seen boarding a bus a short time later with a black suitcase in tow. This, in fact, happened on July 8th at 5:21 in the morning when she's seen at this same Letran bus station boarding a nonstop bus bound northbound, and then I think catching a Greyhound bus onto Tampa and Cape Coral. And there's a little confusion, but I think this bus that she's getting on in the image is actually taking her up near the bus terminal to go on Greyhound. She has a black suitcase, a travel pillow, and according to reports, her pet rabbit in tow. Now that trip is a 3-hour bus ride at a fare of about $40. You can get a ticket for a little less, but as the cost goes up, it gets you a faster trip. And I'm not sure that those would be nonstop if she went cheaper tickets. Now, the search has been hampered by a number of days that passed, 7 from the time that Johnson was last seen at work and her disappearance was reported by family. This is complicated by the fact that she rarely uses a mobile phone and she doesn't have a bank account. She doesn't have a vehicle, and she doesn't have any known social media accounts. In essence, Erica Johnson lived off the trackable grid to some degree. Now, looking closely at these photographs, she seems to be doing okay to me. She doesn't look like or act like someone with a drug problem, for instance. Her complexion, her teeth, her grooming all look immaculate. Even when she's getting on the bus, she seems to be well put together, and the photos support that. Interviews with family, friends, and coworkers in this case are going to be really important as police try to piece together whatever it was that enticed this woman to pack her bags, to load up her bunny, and head off to Tampa, Florida. And keep in mind, that bunny is really important in my opinion. Now, wherever she was going, she took that bunny with her. So I want to know, was this a comfort animal? If so, was it a documented service animal where there would be registration information, perhaps information that would lead back to a physician, a psychiatrist, or somebody who could provide more information regarding her state of mind and her relationship with the bunny? It appears she really loves this bunny, and according to reports, she was often seen with it. So I don't see her, if she was being drug away, grabbing the bunny. If she planned on going away, she's going to probably make sure it's taken care of. Now, keep in mind that her cancellation of visiting her children actually occurred a month earlier in June, according to all the media reports. That could have been weeks before any of this happened, and we don't know if there were other trips to the Tampa area during that same month. So one thing I'd be looking for are indications in the apartment. or through conversation with friends and family if she had a new relationship, a boyfriend in Tampa. Following that course of thinking, I'd think about potential locations. It may be that this woman is perfectly fine living out her time in the Tampa area. This is the kind of case where previous behavior is so important. Things like how often did she talk to her children? How long would she go before the next call to family members? What's her work history? Did she leave work after collecting her latest check, or was she expecting more funds from work? How often did she connect with family and friends? And was her rent paid up, or was she behind in rent and other bills? All of this information can lay the groundwork about motivations to leave or provide clues about what happened to her. So I'm wondering what your thoughts are about the comments made by her mother. Is this behavior they are used to, or is it something that's out of the norm? Here's her mother's comment, and I quote it with, I quote, "I would like to thank the people of Cape Coral and Fort Myers for their kindness and support in helping locate Erica, and the Cape Coral Police Department for their efforts over the past few weeks. Erica is loved and missed by her family and friends, and they're devastated by her disappearance. We remain hopeful that she will be found safe very soon. If you have seen her or you have any information about her, please contact the Cape Coral Police Department." Closed quote. Well, when this case first happened, it captured a whole bunch of attention, and there were a number of social media posts that suggested all kinds of nefarious things going on. From the very beginning, Profiling Evil found it incredibly interesting that this woman took the time to do two things. One, buy a new suitcase, and two, pack up her bunny and take it with her when she left. Now, from the get-go, I didn't believe that this was anything more than a planned departure. Otherwise, I think that room in her home would have provided all kinds of clues to investigators that there was a struggle or that she didn't plan on leaving. Now, she left the apartment there, and we don't know the state of that, what her rent was like, if there was back rent, if she was in foreclosure, not foreclosure, if she was being evicted, what her job situation was like. All of that information has been withheld from us, but it all is very important and plays into the behavior that we watched. Now, this woman certainly wouldn't have packed up her bunny if she was abducted. And I don't believe for a moment that she would have purchased a new suitcase for the abduction just days before she departed the apartment building. Now, there are still a bunch of questions surrounding this case that have never been answered, including some that I asked in the original video and I posed just a moment ago. Things like whether Erica was owed any money from her employer. You remember that morning she worked, said she wasn't feeling well, and she checked out. Now, I suspect that she worked a job cleaning hotel rooms, which we know, but that she was probably living on a fixed income. She needed the money. And so I find it really unlikely, if she was expecting another paycheck, that she would have left on her own accord and not had something in place to pick up that money or at least take care of some debts. So that in and of itself was really peculiar and really interesting. She just wouldn't have left a paycheck willingly behind if she willingly disappeared. Now, this case was tough to track because this woman had no social media handles. She didn't have a digital footprint. It virtually was impossible for investigators or even her family to find her unless she wanted to be found, which takes me to an interesting set of circumstances that I found on our affiliate, Truth Finder. And boy, folks, I hope you'll check out Truth Finder and sign up. I mean, it's free. You can try it out. If you don't like it, you can cancel at any time. But I think this is something really important that I found on Truth Finder. I found it really interesting that she was found in Ohio, first and foremost, because she has a whole bunch of relatives in the Missouri area, but there's one that caught my eye, a relative who's really either the exact same age or within a year of her age that's living in Ohio. Now, I'm keeping her name and her address and the city completely out of this discussion just to give a little anonymity to the case. But I really wonder how much that other person, that family member, knew. Was she part of a scam to get away? Was she part of a run from a husband or a boyfriend that was abusive or something like that, and was providing her sanctuary for a while? Nonetheless, I really am going to be surprised if she doesn't have something to do with the location that this girl ended up in Ohio. And such an easy thing to do, to check out all these relatives and social relationships that are known to people. Now, that person, if ever revealed, is probably going to expose the reasons for that disappearance and that year-long period of secrecy. But for now, you and I are going to have to wait and find some solace in knowing that this one didn't fall prey to some predatory act, and that she's now been safely accounted for. You know, the thing I'm really finding myself wondering, though, is if her children knew where she was. I don't think her ex-husband knew where she was, and I don't believe her parents knew where she was based on the kinds of things they did publicly, including searching. There were a whole bunch of family and friends who went an entire year wondering if she was alive or dead. Well, now they have their answer. She's alive. So what are your thoughts on this one, folks? I mean, I'm going to be looking for your answers down below, but I'm wondering how this makes you feel. How would you feel if you were the investigating officers and you spent all this time and found out she knew you were looking for her and you never let police know? Maybe she never knew police were looking for her. Again, I'm going to be watching for your answers below. And be kind to each other, and let's be kind to this woman as we try to sort through what was going on. And take time to please hit that like and subscribe button and ring the bell and do all that you need to do. And please, folks, consider joining our channel memberships. It's a great way for you to continue to support us, including financially if you'd like. Now, you don't need to if you can't afford it, but if you can afford a little extra, we sure appreciate it. It helps us pay some of the bills with YouTube and other places. So thanks so much for your support. And folks, if you like podcasts, please check out Profiling Evil podcasts on your favorite podcast platform. We are now at about 150,000 downloads on our podcast, and it is growing rapidly now. Don't miss out on that. We're going to be releasing some new video and some new audio podcasts in the coming weeks, those especially for the academy level. So thanks again, and we'll see you all soon at the next crime scene.